All right, I think I'm live. It's acting a little bit funny. So, welcome. This is the How to Be a Trophy Wife podcast. I'm Julia Sotas Mattis, and I chose to create this podcast basically because I um, was resisting a whole lot of things in my life. And if you haven't heard episodes 1 with Gary Douglas and 2 with my husband, Dr. Anthony Mattis, I highly recommend going back and listening to them because they are amazing shows. Um, so let's get started. I am so glad that you're here listening and choosing these tools and really tapping into creating something greater in your life for you. Everything that I talk about on this podcast is based on the tools of Access Consciousness. Access is a set of tools and processes that are designed to change every area of your life and give you a greater awareness of you. It's not about doing access tools, it's all about tapping into your life and the way you would like your life to be and the things that you would like to have. So I welcome you. I invite you to, or I welcome you on the podcast. And how does it get better? Let's get started. So um, I I started this podcast because Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, said to me, you know, you need to be willing to be a trophy wife. And I was talking to him, I was asking him, he was talking about how he wasn't being willing to be treated like a normal person. And I said, well, I don't want people to treat me like a normal person either. How do I create a place where I invite people to treat me as different and to know that there's something different about me and that this interaction isn't going to be normal? This interaction is going to be very different. And so Gary said, well, when somebody asks you what you do for a living, tell them that you're a trophy wife. And I was like, oh, what? I thought that was the craziest thing I ever heard. And like, I have had, and I'm still working through so many fixed points of view about this topic and this concept because when I was a kid, I remember seeing Trophy Wife on TV for the first time and I was horrified. There was this woman who was in like a pink, velour jumpsuit, like drinking like a glass of like white wine in the morning, something like that. And she had this older husband who was kind of a meathead, and she was a trophy wife. And I thought to myself, I will never be a trophy wife. And I came to so many decisions, judgments, conclusions, computations, and ideas about what a trophy wife was and how I would never be willing to be it. And so, how many decisions, conclusions, computations, and judgments, as well as the big five, which is a very long explanation and you can find more info about that in the Access shop on the tele called the Big Five. But basically, all the big five with that, it's where you have presumptive realities and needs to be reactive to things like that, needs to save others. So everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate all that? Times a godzillion. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pock, shorts, boys, povids, and beyonds. So we basically go into this decision and these unwillingnesses to be things. And I started looking at what I was not willing to be with the trophy wife thing. Because it was so light when I would talk about it. After Gary said to say that once, when people asked me if that was what my career was, the next day or maybe a couple days later, I was in yoga class. And I came out of yoga class and I met this girl and she said, what do you do for work? Nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. I said, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, am I really going to tell this girl that I'm a trophy wife? Like, that's my job. And I had so much judgment. And I was like, and I'm like, I'm a trophy wife. And she was so excited. And the woman behind me, who I had never seen like laugh or smile, just got so happy, and this like beam of gratitude came from her towards me. And the girl that I was talking to was like, "This is incredible." She's like, "How can I become a trophy wife?" She's like, "The guy that I'm dating right now does cocaine, and that doesn't work for me." And she's like, "I've just been dating these guys that, they just don't have much to offer." She's like, "I teach yoga twice a week. I would love to be in your scenario. Like, where did you meet him?" And I said, "I met him in Costa Rica." And what I didn't say was I was an access class, which kind of changes who you're going to meet in Costa Rica. It wasn't really about the country. It was about that these people were using access tools. And um, and so basically, I could literally perceive this huge opening in the universe and all of these light energies just coming in and contributing to me, and the universe was just like, yes. And that was the beginning of my journey to stopping resisting being a trophy wife. So what is a trophy wife? Trophy wife is a woman who is married to a man, usually who's older and has money. And that was something that I was never willing to do. I mean, I grew up in a household and in a life where, you went to school, you got top grades, very strong political points of view, um, very strong ideas about college and university, and what was required, just like the right thing to do and the right way to be, and everything was really laid out for me. And I had some family members who were extremely judgmental. I mean, my parents, nicest people in the world, I'm so grateful for them. And it's like, but there were people surrounding me in my life who had so much judgment in their world. It was like they were like rocks on legs. And those people when you're around them and you're just like, I you just don't even want to like move an inch, because if you move an inch, you're going to have done something wrong. And so you like completely separate from yourself, completely separate from your joy, completely separate from your being, and really create this place where you're not being you because of this person. And it's amazing to me how judgmental I became. Like, I mean, I'm gonna say I am an extremely judgmental person. I could say I was an extremely judgmental person. Now I'm much more aware of the judgments that I'm coming to. And I was actually speaking to Gary Douglas, and he's been such an amazing mentor to me, and just been such a gift in my life, and showed me things that I just wouldn't have seen otherwise, and showed me ways of living and ways of being, and really ways of being kind to myself and being kind to others. And so in Access, we have a tool called Interesting Point of View. I have this point of view, and that's basically designed to take you out of the positive and negative polarity in your life. And so, Interesting Point of View, I have this point of view, was what I was using. And basically, I was talking to Gary about it. I said, "How can I still be this judgmental, Gary? I use Interesting Point of View. I have this point of view all the time." And he's like, "Yeah, but you're using it when you've decided something is wrong." And I said, "I am, and I'm trying to use Interesting Point of View to get that thing away from me, which is not oneness and not inclusion." So he said, "Instead, for right now, what if you just acknowledged this is a judgment? I'm judging." I was like, "Okay." So I started acknowledging when I was judging, and that whole first day after I spoke with him, I was like, I would judge, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm judging." And I could literally feel it was physical. Basically, we judgments affect our body like being an electric shock chair or like being tased with a taser. Every time, and we are so used to it over so many trillions of years of being having this much judgment in our world. We're basically numb to the fact that we're hitting ourselves with a taser. And I'm telling you, once you get more sensitive to this stuff, you literally, it actually physically hurts you, and it physically hurts your body, and energetically hurts your being to judge yourself. And so I was going around and doing interesting point of view. I have this point of view, and I was going around saying I am judging, and I was becoming very clear at where I was judging. And it was so insidious and so much. And I continue to use that tool. And it's like it gets lighter and lighter. And now it's like I'm actually aware of when I'm judging myself, which is pretty amazing, actually. And quite an amazing space to get to, because it's like we are judging ourselves so much, and we just don't realize how much we are numbed out, like physically numbed out. Like it becomes a different proprioceptive reality when you realize how much you're judging yourself and how much it hurts, that you don't even realize that it's hurting. And that's a big part of the reason why we can't expand our lives and we can't expand our worlds, because this basically, using a taser, I'm going to call it exactly how it feels. Using a taser on yourself all day long makes it really hard to move into the lightness of your life, which is pretty obvious when you think about it. But it's like when you judge yourself, acknowledge that you're judging and get clear on the fact that you're harming your body and you're harming your being and you're harming your life and your future. So everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it all, and all the big five and the Unabomber. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, povids, and beyonds. Wow. And hello to everybody who's saying hi on the stream. Nice to see you. Whew. I am noticing that as I'm talking to you guys to this, I can perceive this coming out of my body and everybody else's body, which is freaking awesome. So I wanted to say that. What else? What energy, space, consciousness, and choice can you be to be the trophy wife you truly be with total ease? And everything that is times a godzillion. Will you destroy it and create it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, povids, and beyond. So going back to being your trophy wife, it's like this is something that you must. Some people are naturally good at this. Next month, I am so looking forward to the podcast because I'm having the trophy wife of the universe on my podcast, Mrs. Becky Van Ez from Florida. Becky knows that she's a trophy wife and she's willing to be a trophy wife. And she loves her husband, she adores her husband, and she's grateful for her husband, and she wants him to always be greater and choose his life. And so everything that brought up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Everywhere you are not grateful for your own success, which doesn't allow you to be grateful for others' success, in truth, even though you do have a level of gratitude and generosity to others, everywhere you're not willing to be it for you, which stops how much you can be it for others, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, povids, and beyonds. So it's like, what if you didn't have to resist being a trophy wife? And what if you didn't have to resist being cared for? I mean, one of the things about trophy wife is like, that's really the willingness to be cared for. Are you willing to be cared for? Are you willing to be taken care of? Or are you trying to push other people caring for you and taking care of you away? When I first started, so my husband is an extremely, extremely caring person. Like he is like caring on legs. He cares about everything on this planet. In our house, He cares about every single plant in our house, and he's always talking to them and watering them and making sure that they're alive and repotting them and planting new ones and checking them out on his plant app to see what's going on and see the different, varieties and water needs and things of the plant. He's like that with his kids, with my three stepkids. He is he is so into being a father. He's so caring. And he's so caring of his business and the people that he works with. And he's extremely caring of me. And that, for me, when we first started to get together, I wanted to run away. I mean, how many of you know this story? You've met somebody who's really caring and you wanted to run away from them because you just didn't know how to receive that much caring. I mean, when I first started dating him, I was like, I almost felt like a violation of my it was like violating my like the way that I was functioning that was unconscious and unkind, because it was just this like tsunami of kindness. And it's like I grew up in the world in this idea of separation between people, and not this oneness, not this level of immense caring for another being from a totally different space in reality. So, how much of the big five are you using to avoid the caring you could be choosing? And oh my God, that's so incredibly heavy. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, pubs, and beyond. Let's run that again. How much of the big five are you using to avoid the caring you could be choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion. Will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, pubs, and beyond. And if you're listening to this, I invite you to go to theclearingstatement.com and read about what the clearing statement is if you're brand new to Access. So, how much of the big five are you using to avoid the caring that you could be choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pop, poc, shorts, boys, pubs, and beyond. I'm going to run that once or twice more until some more of the energy clears off of it. How much of the big five are you using to avoid the caring you could be choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, pubs, and beyond. And how much of the big five are you using to avoid the caring you could be choosing? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, povids, and beyond. And it's like, there's so much. I mean, you could just use that one tool of clearing everywhere that you're resisting caring, and it would change your whole world because we spend so much energy resisting the caring that people have for us, resisting the caring that people we don't even know could have for us, but we won't even let them into our lives to meet them because we don't want to receive that much caring. You know, every object in your house cares for you and wants to contribute. The whole earth and the planet cares for you and wants to contribute. There's such a caring. Wow, it's amazing. It's like I would love to. It almost seems like the world is opening up to be able to hear a conversation about caring because it's just not something that's been available before. Judgment has really had a strong hold on our whole world and our whole culture. And excuse me. And it's like judgment is an insanity. Judging somebody positively is an insanity, and judging somebody negatively is an insanity. And you are judging yourself 24/7. So, how much of the big five are you using to create the judgment you are choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, povids, and beyond. Awesome. So if anybody has any questions before we finish up, pop them in the comments. And like, I just wanted to say thank you guys for being here and listening to these conversations in consciousness, because how to be a trophy wife is all about the willingness to receive and the willingness to be vulnerable and actually allow your mate into your life and be kind with them. And I always want to illustrate that being a trophy wife is not about being a young woman. You know, a woman can be a trophy wife at any time in her life. I know a lot of trophy wives who are 70, 80, 90 years old, women who are truly kind, truly willing to receive from their husband and or partner, and just grateful to be with them, grateful that they're in their life, never making them wrong ever. Always, when something's not working, always looking for a greater possibility. So, thank you guys for joining me. How does it get better than this? And I'll see you next month in December for our 4th episode with Becky Van Ez. So, thanks so much. And how does it get better? Bye, guys.